the Steelers are making decisions that could completely change the team's direction. TJ Watt continues to be a monster on the field, but is Pittsburgh doing enough to help him? And on the other side of the ball, Naji Harris is at the center of an unexpected move that could shake up the offense. What's going on behind the scenes? You can't miss any of these updates. Drop a like and let's get into it. When you think of the Steelers' defense in recent years, one name immediately comes to mind: TJ Watt. The guy is simply a monster. At 30 years old and with 8 NFL seasons under his belt, he has not only exceeded all expectations since being the 30th overall pick in the 2017 draft, but has also redefined what it means to be an elite pass rusher. He already has 108 career sacks, the most in franchise history, surpassing legend James Harrison. But Watt's impact goes far beyond the numbers. His mere presence forces opposing offensive lines to adjust completely, creating opportunities for his teammates and changing the game at any moment. If anyone still doubts Watt's importance to Pittsburgh, just look at the Steelers' record without him. 1 win and 10 losses in the regular season. Yes, it's a disaster when he's not on the field. Even though his sack numbers dipped in 2024, no one can question his influence. He has already racked up 462 career tackles, 331 solo, along with 33 forced fumbles, 126 tackles for loss, and 225 quarterback hits. This guy doesn't just get to the QB, he changes the course of games. The truth is that Pittsburgh needs to keep building its defense around Watt. And for those who like betting, sportsbooks like FanDuel already know he's one of the most impactful players in the league. Need more proof? In 2021, he tied Michael Strawn's record with 22.5 sacks in a single season. In October 2024, against the Cowboys, he reached his 100th sack faster than almost anyone in league history, only trailing the legendary Reggie White. Among active players, Watt has already surpassed Myles Garrett and is closing in on Von Miller, but he doesn't dominate just with sacks. Watt also has an insane instinct for creating turnovers. Remember Ben Roethlisberger's last game? Who scored the Steelers' only points in that first quarter against the Chiefs? That's right, Watt himself. And Pittsburgh's defense needs to take even greater advantage of his talent. What helped in recent years was having guys like Alex Highsmith, 35.5 sacks in 5 seasons, and Nick Herbig, 8.5 sacks in limited action as a backup, relieving some of the pressure on Watt. Even so, the Steelers need to be more creative in countering the double and even triple teams Watt faces. They already move him around to create mismatches, but there are still holes in the defense, especially against the run. And there's also the defensive line situation. Cameron Hayward is still playing at a high level, but he's already 36 years old. Youngster Keanu Benton looks promising, but the team needs reinforcements in that area, something GM Omar Khan must prioritize this offseason. Beyond that, the secondary needs help. Joey Porter Jr. was a great find, but Dante Jackson has been inconsistent, and Corey Trice is still raw. The nickel position has also been a mess, with Cameron Sutton returning after off-field issues but failing to impress. The Eagles showed in the Super Bowl that a devastating pass rush paired with a solid secondary can be the key to stopping explosive offenses like the Chiefs. The Steelers should take notes. At the end of the day, TJ Watt is more than just a dominant player. He's the heart and soul of the Steelers' defense. The team already has one of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL. Now they just need to make sure he has enough help to keep terrorizing quarterbacks and leading Pittsburgh back to the top. So, Steelers fans, is the team making the most of TJ Watt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. But now, the next story could directly impact the future of the offense. The Steelers are officially in off-season mode, and big decisions are already being discussed. One of the biggest? The future of the team's running game. Specifically, Naji Harris. The former first-round pick from the 2021 draft is nearing the end of his rookie contract, and Pittsburgh has decided not to pick up his 5th-year option. Essentially, this means the team isn't too interested in keeping him around, and the reason isn't exactly a mystery. Spending a first-round pick on an RB just doesn't make much sense in today's NFL. From the moment Harris was drafted, fans were split. Some loved the move. He came from Alabama and was an undeniable talent. Others hated it for the same reason. They can't stand Alabama. But the biggest criticism was always about his position. Investing a high pick in a running back when the offensive line was a mess and the team had bigger holes to fill seemed questionable. And in reality, Harris's career in Pittsburgh never took off as expected. He flashed his talent, but had to deal with a dysfunctional offense, an incapable offensive coordinator, hello Matt Canada, an inconsistent O-line, and a carousel of 6 different quarterbacks in 4 years. Now, with Arthur Smith taking over the offense, the plan was to give Harris one last look before making a final decision. But if the Steelers really wanted to keep him, they would have picked up his 5th-year option. After all, $7 million for a solid starter isn't exactly a steep price. This only reinforces the idea that Pittsburgh is ready to move on. The debate over the backfield's future heated up even more when Mark Kaboly, on the Pat McAfee show, accidentally suggested that the Steelers might draft a running back in the 1st round this year. His co-host Chris Mack quickly shut that down, saying he'd only consider it if Ashton Jeanty, Boise State, somehow fell in the draft. But Kaboly went even further and slammed the idea. Forget it. Haven't you learned your lesson? I don't care if this guy is the second coming of Walter Payton. Kaboly argues that the Steelers should only look at RBs on day 2 of the draft, meaning a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Some mock drafts align with that thinking, suggesting names like Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State, in the 2nd round. Others speculate that Pittsburgh could target a veteran to pair with Jaylen Warren, maybe even someone like Raheem Mostert, who's expected to test free agency. Speaking of Warren, he has become a fan favorite since joining the team as an undrafted free agent in 2022. His energy and aggressive running style have made him the perfect complement to Harris, and many believe he deserves a shot as the RB1. The problem? He hasn't done enough to convince the franchise that he can carry that load alone. In 2024, his 511 rushing yards and 1 touchdown weren't exactly eye-popping, though injuries did slow him down. Harris, on the other hand, has one crucial advantage: durability. In 4 years, he hasn't missed a single game. The draft and free agency will provide some answers, but one thing seems clear. Spending a 1st-round pick on an RB again? Forget it. The Steelers have already learned that lesson, and it looks like they've learned it well. One thing is certain: the Steelers need to give TJ Watt more support if they want to get back to the top. Meanwhile, the Naji Harris situation suggests the team is ready to move on from him. But is it the right call? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates on your favorite team.